Welcome to AAU Plus for this game of the ACC Showcase, a premier matchup between the Maryland Terrapins and the High Point Panthers. My name is Andy Parr, joined alongside Bailey Unchester. You just heard Bailey on play-by-play for East Carolina versus Georgetown right before this. I'm taking over the headset now for the Terps and the Panthers. Bailey, what did you see in that first game, and what should we expect from this one?
Yeah, definitely. The second game of the weekend overall, this showcase was on this rink right here, and I had the honor of being on play-by-play for that. We saw two elite teams back there, Georgetown and East Carolina. East Carolina ended up getting that win by a score of 5-1. Despite that, though, both teams pretty evenly matched. Score sheet didn't really reflect that. You could tell, though, some tired guys on there. It's earlier than most people are expecting to play. It's earlier than I usually broadcast too, so let's see a little bit later in the day, but still kind of early if Maryland and High Point have the same issue.
Yep, should be an evenly matched game here between two premier teams who have beaten M1 opponents this season. Maryland flexing 2 wins over Towson, and High Point beat North Carolina earlier this year as we get an early whistle right off the faceoff. Grant Warner was trying to dive into the offensive zone for the Terps as that puck just got shot over the High Point bench. We'll go right back to center ice. Grant Warner to take a face-off at center again against Glessner. Glessner wins it, and now we are truly underway here between the Panthers and the Terps. Glessner sending it into the offensive zone, carried ahead now by Sasso. Sasso down for Glessner. He was trying to center one in front. Pharisee was out of position, but nobody home on that pass. Pilkington with it for Maryland, trying to feed ahead for Warner. Warner has it bounce off his stick, and now High Point's coming the other way. That was DiMartino dumping it into the offensive zone. Only when there's Eli Petter for the Terps. Petter sending it around the boards. Taken away in neutral by the Panthers. Into the offensive zone. That one's tipped by Glessner as he needs a change. The captain, Brian Teske, back there for the Terps. Teske up for Petter. Petter looking across for Schreibman there. That pass couldn't connect. Teske defects that shot out of play, and we get another whistle with 19:08 to play here in period number 1.
Just I was saying in that opening call, it seems like some of these teams who just aren't used to playing this early aren't really adjusting well to the ice at this time of day. It seems like Maryland so far early on this first period might be one of them, with a lot of guys just out of position we see, especially right there with a quick opportunity there from High Point.
Yep, quick shot off the faceoff there for Jack Slayton. Good awareness from Jack Pharisee in net to come up with a stop right there. Terps a much shorter commute here to Springfield, Virginia than High Point. Panthers taking a trip all the way up from North Carolina this weekend. Terps just taking the beltway down to 495. James Body with it behind his own net. Body trying to get it out, kept in at the point for the moment by High Point. Blocked there by Rakowskis. Back to the near point. This is Hutchins. Hutchins feeding it down low, taken away for the moment by Sean Amon. And now Schreibman's got it for the Terps. Schreibman will gladly clear this one the length of the ice right at Jack Vieira, so no icing here. Pressure from James Body will draw a whistle. 18:30 to play here in period number 1. Terps will get their first offensive zone draw of the day here. Third line coming out for Coach Joe Carter. Luke Mohan to take this face-off against Liam Donahue, and Mohan wins it back for Sarah. Sarah sending it down low, taken away by Ringstad. Ringstad will send it around the boards, but Romps is there for the Terps. Back to the point, it's Vogel. Vogel trying to send it low, taken away by Matt Hughes. Hughes will play it to his defensive partner. And now High Point's trying to get the other way. Mishandle there. Romps takes it away for the Terps, and now Duchesne's got it on the near side. Travis Duchesne down low for Romps. Romps gets pickpocketed there by Ringstad. Ringstad now with it for High Point in his own end. Ringstad cruising through neutral. He'll dump it in past the red line. Behind the net, quick shot there coming in from Finley Patrick. Jack Pharisee had to get back into his cage for that one. Quick release there from number 3 in purple. Back to the point, it's Anderson. Anderson playing it across, long-range shot there from Ringstad goes wide. Down low, Hughes back to the point for Anderson. Another long-range shot tipped in front by Patrick and a save from Pharisee. One-timer there, another save on Matt Hughes. High Point still dangerous here, getting the offense set up. Patrick, shot from the slot, that one goes high. Terps really trying to box it out. Andre Serra was in front there. Now down low, mishandled for the moment by Hughes. Back to the point, it's Anderson. Anderson with a dangle down to the face-off dot, now below the goal line. He's going to play it back up for Hughes. Hughes cross the ice. This is Ringstad with a play down low. Back to the inside. They were looking, trying to feed Donahue right there and couldn't connect. Hughes with it again. Back for Ringstad, down low. Back up to Hughes on the near point. Hughes waiting for lanes to open up. Good stick there from Duchesne. Duchesne will clear it slowly as Maryland needs a change badly. Shots on goal are one apiece, but High Point has a lot more sustained pressure so far. Pilkington the other way for Maryland. Tommy Pilkington rumbling into the offensive zone against Cacciatore. Caleb Craven takes Cacciatore into the boards. Sasso trying to strip Pilkington of the puck there. And that was Grant Warner feeding it in front, looking for Caleb Craven. Caleb Craven behind the boards working against his opposite number 7, Anthony Sasso. That one taken away by High Point, and now the other way, this is Jack Mertz. Mertz stalled up for the moment by Eli Petter. Petter will play it into neutral. Grant Warner there for the Terps, now working with Pilkington. Pilkington stripped of the puck there by Cacciatore. Around the boards for Sasso. Sasso up ahead for Riggio. Now, with speed through neutral, High Point's got numbers. Far side shot there, saved by Pharisee on Mertz. High Point had a 3-on-1, good awareness from Jack Pharisee. And a clutch stop from the freshman as Caleb Craven gets tripped up. We've got our first power play of the game as Joe DiMartino is going to have 2 minutes for tripping. 15:45 to play here in the first. Caleb Craven drawing a penalty and putting the Terps on the power play.
And Craven, as we saw with him both games last weekend, finding himself again in as a forward tonight, or this morning, in the lineup. Craven is slotting in on that second line right wing. And we're going to see if this can help him out at all with sort of the lack of offense he's been producing so far this season.
Maryland's power play got heated up last weekend against Virginia Tech, struck twice across 2 days, both goals courtesy of James Body. But High Point with an early clear there. Brian Teske getting it out of his own end. Teske up ahead for Schreibman. Schreibman carries into the offensive zone, checked off the puck for the moment there by Jonathan English. Around the boards. Couldn't be handled there by Pilkington, and High Point's got another clear. Pharisee leaves it for Grant Warner. Warner slowing things down. Sends it across for Pilkington. Romps now ahead for Pilkington. They're in the offensive zone. Pilkington near circle. Good back check there from Jack Hutchins to strip him of the puck. Hutchins sends it up for Slayton. Slayton with speed through center. He's going to kill a lot of time here. Taken away by Grant Warner, and now Warner trying to get some speed the other way with Schreibman. Schreibman is offside on that zone entry. 1 minute gone in the Maryland power play, and not a lot of shots on net so far.
Maryland is still definitely messing around a bit with their power play. Let's see who they're going to keep out on this ice right now. We see James Body, who was a bit of a star last weekend here, getting a chance again on the power play as he capitalized a few goals there. Just in front of the net. We're going to see if that's what Maryland needs to really light up their power play. It's just a big body who can stay in front of the net. But first, though, they have to get that pressure happening, which has not been happening so far.
Harnan was trying to spring a 2-on-1 right there. Duchesne and Body had some speed, but now Craven with a long-range shot. That one's tipped wide. Good defensive stick there from Joey Riggio to make sure that puck didn't touch Jack Vieira. Down low, it's Harnan who comes out with it for the Terps. Harnan across for Craven. Craven on the far circle. We'll send it down low for Body. Body behind the High Point net, rings it around the boards for Duchesne. Back over to Body. Body to the point for Craven. Craven, long range shot, score! James Body, 3 straight games with a goal. Deflection in front on the power play. Caleb Craven's leading the line. Body celebrated like it's his. Doesn't matter who scored it, 1-0 Terps.
Again, I think that just depends on if Body got a tip there, but the shot was mainly taken by Craven there from the blue line, which is where he is most comfortable, a defenseman at heart. And on that power play, the way that he's positioned, that is just the easiest shot for him to take, and he just ended up sneaking one right past Pentori right there.
The Terps were not super productive on the first half of that power play. Change of units and complete change of pace. Long-range shot from Craven, potentially deflected by James Body. Either way, it's behind Jack Vieira and 1-0 Terps early in this one. Blake Warner sends it ahead for Wilson. Chase Wilson now with speed into the offensive zone for Maryland. He'll send it behind the net. Taken away there by Ringstad. Ringstad tries to get it past Sean Amon. First attempt doesn't go. Now with it, Chase Wilson applying the pressure. Kept in at the blue line by Amon. Wilson taken away for the moment by Anderson. He'll clear it into center. Jack Rakowskis back there for Maryland. Rakowskis plays it across for his partner Amon. Back up for Rakowskis. Rakowskis with speed. Across for Warner. Blake Warner, that one was stuck on his backhand. He couldn't pull the trigger. Slayton now trying to feed it through center, taken away by Eli Petter. High Point now with possession again. It's Ringstad in his own end. Ringstad taking up some speed. Ringstad sending it across the ice, taken away there by Body. Body now trying to get some more pressure in the offensive zone, working one-on-one against Cam Anderson. Anderson has that pass taken away by Harnan. And now Schreibman trying to get some pressure in front. Ringstad's there for the Panthers. Ringstad leaves for Anderson. Anderson on the far side. Sends it off the boards. Eli Petter going to be the first one there. Anderson was trying to look for a stretch pass. Could not quite connect. Now back at the point, it's Hutchins. Hutchins across. Long-range shot there. Blocked by James Body. Harnan now the other way for the Terps. Sends that one in as he needs a change. With it for High Point, that's English. English. Long pass there. Back to English on the far side. English into the offensive zone. English stop-and-go move blocked by Caden Vogel. And now Maryland might have numbers the other way if they hurry. It's Schreibman. Schreibman has a fortunate bounce for Pilkington. For Warner shot. Rebound. Schreibman is robbed by Vieira. Jack Vieira with his best stop early in this first period. Michael Schreibman was wide open on the far post. Grant Warner, a beautiful pass there. That one tipped into the offensive zone by Warner, so no icing here. Donahue back there for High Point. Turned over to Warner, and he ripped that one just high. Vieira had to get his glove up quick, and now High Point with some numbers the other way. Here comes Donahue. Donahue, big defensive play. Caden Vogel stalling up the breakaway opportunity. High Point still dangerous here. Down low, they were looking for Hughes. Pass couldn't connect. Maryland clearing this one nice and slow down the ice. Icing here, though. 11:09 to play in the first. A fast-paced first period so far, Bailey.
And these past few minutes have been all about the young guns so far for the Terps. We've seen it on both sides of the ice there. If we're just going back a few minutes ago to that beautiful sequencing setup with Warner and Pilkington and Schreibman that almost resulted in a Terrapin second goal in this first period. And then on the other end, a beautiful diving block there from Caden Vogel finding his way into the lineup this morning. As the young guys are showing out right now.
Warner wins this face-off against Donahue, but it's kept in at the point there by Cacciatore. Eli Petter takes it away for the Terps. Now Craven pushes it into neutral. Working against Sasso again. Sasso dumps it in from the blue line. Pharisee goes behind his net to chase. Leaves for Amon. Amon up ahead for Duchesne. Duchesne finds a passing lane for Romps. Romps now into the offensive zone. James Romps leaves for Mohan. Mohan back around the boards to Romps. Romps checked into the boards there by Cacciatore. Puck squirts out. For the moment, that was Hughes who gets it past the blue line for Teskey, and that was a dangerous bouncing puck right next to Vieira. Cacciatore now. Leaves it behind his net, and High Point's going the other way. This is Sasso. Anthony Sasso ahead for Hughes. Hughes working one-on-one there. Good defensive play. That was Eli Petter for the Terps, stalling up Hughes' opportunity. Romps now leaves for Petter. Petter carries it through neutral for the moment, taken away by Anderson. Anderson, that pass is slightly offline there, and he gets the puck back on his stick. Tipped into the offensive zone there by Riggio. Taken away by the Terps again. Teskey trying to feed a long stretch pass there for Wilson. He's able to tip it, but he can't get control. This is Ringstad now. Ringstad sends it behind him for Anderson. Anderson tried to get it past the blue line, kept in for the moment by Hudrin, but that one deflects out of play. 9:42 to play here in the first period, 1-0 Maryland.
And High Point, even though the Terps are finding themselves outplaying them relatively so in this first period so far, High Point is still one of those sneaky good teams. We had the M2 ACHA Southeast Division rankings come out just the other day. High Point ended up finding themselves slotting in at number 17 in the entire Southeast Division.
Quick shot there from the far side. That one coming off the stick of Joey Riggio. Another save for Jack Pharisee. put him up for 3 so far in this first period. Wilson loses this faceoff here. Quick trigger off the draw from Riggio. That one buzzed just high. Big faceoff win there from Mike Yele to set up that set piece for Riggio. Terps clear the ice as they need a change. Back in his own end, it's Riggio. Riggio leaves it for Anderson. Anderson, some light pressure from Harnan. Anderson's got it on the near side. Anderson up ahead. This is Mertz. Mertz dumps it in past Vogel. Vogel gets back, though, and leaves it around the boards for Body. Body, long stretch pass there, taken away at the point. Kept in there by Peter Cross. Cross! Good pass there, and DiMartino, a better stop by Pharisee. That one goes just over the blue line, so High Point forced to vacate the zone. Andre Serra now with it for the Terps. Harnan trying to get it past Cross. He can't. And now Serra's behind his own net. Serra leaves for Vogel. Vogel up for Harnan. He couldn't handle that pass, and Cross takes it away in neutral. He'll dump it in again. That one looks like it clicked off the linesman and into the Maryland bench, so we get a whistle. High Point out shooting the Terps 4-3 so far. Maryland capitalizing on the one power play opportunity.
Yeah, it still feels like, though, the Terps have been relatively outplaying the Panthers, though, despite this shot count. I mean, I know that this just means that the Terps haven't been able to finish as much, but in terms of pressure, it seems like Terps have been over there, at least comparably so to the Panthers in the offensive zone.
Maryland trying to carry it through neutral. That was Grant Warner. He lost his handle on the puck. And now Glessner's got it for the Panthers. Glessner, long pass there, stalled up by Petter, and now Petter's going the other way for the Terps. Petter on the far side, drop for Craven. Craven taking it down low, inside for Warner, couldn't connect on the pass. Teskey, center point, shot, save made by Vieira. Back to the point, they were looking for Petter. It's taken away there by Nick Sasso. Up ahead, this is DiMartino. DiMartino in, he couldn't get his stick on it. He had Pharisee beat on the pad side, just couldn't finish the wraparound move. Cacciatore back in his own end for the Panthers. Back through neutral. That one clicks off the stick of Nick Sasso, and this will be an icing as he was behind the red line when that contact was made. 7:30 to play here in period number 1. Maryland with an offensive zone draw.
Terps going with their third line here. So let's see if that could be the key to some production.
Mohan with a sneaky shot off the faceoff. There was a tie-up. High Point kind of vacated the puck. Mohan took advantage there. A good save there from Vieira.
Mohan, yeah, definitely not usually on the stat sheet. More so just a center-of-the-ice face-off type of guy. Found a way to capitalize there, but looks like High Point's netminder was in the right place at the right time to smother that one.
And that one will take us to our first media timeout of this game. Maryland 1, High Point 0.
Are we doing this tomorrow?
He wasn't doing this at all during the first game, so I thought maybe her computer was just like cold or something, but you just had it out there, so I don't think
It might be cold, though, I'm not going to lie.
Terps with an offensive zone draw here. Luke Mohan wins it for Maryland. Sean Amon with a point shot. That one stick save for Vieira. High Point getting it out of the zone there, and now with some speed ahead, they were looking for A.J. Boygan. He couldn't handle the puck. Rakowskis into the offensive zone for the Terps. That puck taken away by Slayton, and now High Point's got the other way. Slayton working 1-on-2. Slayton gets around Amon, in alone on Pharisee. A stick save there for number 32 in red. Another shot coming from the far side. That one goes just high.
Slayton had Pharisee beat there on his glove side. Just looked like he couldn't seem to get his stick to wrap around enough to really put it past those pads of Pharisee that kind of were the only thing close enough to the center and left side of that net that would have been able to stop that shot.
Boygan and Harnan at the face-off dot. The two of them tie it up. A quick release there from Mason Heiss goes wide of the net. Now Schreibman's got it in neutral, loses his handle on the puck, and Sasso with it for High Point, ahead for Slayton. Slayton for Boygan. Boygan carries into the near side. Back across for Slayton. Slayton trying to feed the center. Stalled up there by a couple of Terps. Long-range shot from Cacciatore, pad save for Pharisee. Body plays it ahead for Schreibman. Schreibman doesn't beat Sasso to that puck. Now the two of them fighting for it on the board. Still loose for a moment. Harnan trying to corral it for the Terps. He overskates it. Boygan slowing things down in his defensive end. A.J. Boygan down low for Cacciatore. Even lower now for Hughes. Hughes outskates Harnan for the moment. Hudrin applying some pressure, and now Harnan's got it for the Terps. Harnan tried to feed it back across for Blake Warner. Good defensive stick there from Donahue. Terps keeping up the pressure here, though, as Hudrin plays it in deep again. Now with it for High Point. That was number 17, Chris Cacciatore. Taken away by Sarah, and Warner into the offensive zone. That shot's wide. Sarah still dangerous. Couldn't pull the trigger there. Sasso now behind his own net. Terps really applying the pressure to these tired High Point skaters. Panthers need a change. Maryland's not letting them get off. Blake Warner with it deep. Warner trying to use the boards for Wilson. Finley plays it down low. Vieira around the boards. It's kept in by Petter. Petter for Warner. Warner back to the point for Hudrin. Hudrin keeps it in at the blue line. Long-range shot there, blocked by Cacciatore. Patrick down low, using the boards. It's taken away again by Chase Wilson. Wilson keeping the pressure on, and High Point can finally vacate the zone a little bit. Finley Patrick with it now into the offensive end on the near side. Drop pass there for Donahue, intercepted by Caleb Craven. Anderson resets in neutral. He'll dump it in. High Point finally getting in that much-needed change. Petter trying to use the boards for Pilkington. That pass is offline. Anderson's got it for the High Point. Teskey blocks that pass. Taken away now by Anderson again. Anderson, 1-on-2, shot squeezed by Pharisee. 4:37 to play here in period number one. That one, Pharisee's 7th stop of the afternoon.
It's the first chance that High Point really had in quite a few minutes there, as Maryland was really just dominating for a few there in that offensive zone. Wasn't able to capitalize, but now Panthers are going to try and take it the other way.
Quick shot there off the faceoff. 2 stops there from Pharisee. Joey Riggio robbed again. Joey Riggio's had 2 set pieces off faceoffs. Pharisee's had the answer every time. Grant Warner now gets it over the blue line. High Point has to reset. Eli Petter down low. Plays it around for Rakowskis. Rakowskis slow pass there. That was dangerous for the Terps. Riggio plays it over the blue line. Play is slowed down now by Grant Warner. Warner, couple of toe drags. Warner gets over the red line, dumps it in. He needs a change. Ringstad there, plays it around for Anderson. Anderson pushes it ahead to Nick Sasso. Back for Anderson. Now with it, it's Glessner. Glessner is offside there as DiMartino was trying to spring on the far side. 3:41 to play here in period number one. 1-0 Terps, but shots are 9-6 in favor of the Panthers.
Pharisee has really just been the main answer so far this morning. As always, really just this star for the Terps as they're down on a 5-game losing streak.
DiMartino into the offensive zone for High Point. Faces some pressure for Rakowskis. He'll have to play it down low. Mohan's there for Maryland. Luke Mohan skies this one very slowly through center. Back there for the Panthers, it's English. English will send it across to DiMartino. DiMartino has his pass taken away by Eamon in center. Eamon sends it around the board, skips over the stick of Vieira. Now back down low, it's English again. Jonathan English up ahead for Nick Sasso. Sasso dangles it around Sean Eamon, and now he's got a one-on-one developing. Ahead for DiMartino. DiMartino back for Sasso. The two of them couldn't connect. That pass is taken away by Body. Sean Eamon with it for the Terps. Eamon will happily clear that one into center as he was working 1-on-2 on that moment. English back there again for High Point. Leaves it for Hutchins. Jake Hutchins plays it down low for Glessner. Tipped into the offensive zone there by Slayton. Maryland's there in their defensive end. Body carrying the puck. Sends it across. Schreibman couldn't quite handle that pass off the boards. Taken away by Cacciatore, who blows a tire behind the net. Cacciatore, luckily for him, Boygan was right there for the Panthers to recover. Still facing some pressure from Harnan. He loses the puck to Body. Body stripped of the puck there by Heiss. And now Heiss sends it ahead for the Panthers. This is Slayton into the offensive zone. That pass intercepted there by Schreibman. Just under 2 minutes to play here in the first period. James Body now motoring into the offensive zone for Maryland. Body sending that one across. Nobody home. Sasso there for the Panthers. Sasso clears this one into center. Eli Petter there for Maryland. Petter, long-range shot, gloved by Vieira. He will squeeze. And we get a whistle here with 1:45 to play in the first. That's Vieira's 6th save of the first.
That shot there innocently from Eli Petter, who didn't necessarily have the greatest game last Saturday, but he's still getting chances here at these first-line defensive pairing minutes with the captain, Brian Teske. Seems like he's playing a bit better today, which is great to see.
Warner won that face-off forward. Craven's got it. Leaves it for Petter at the point. Now back to Warner. Across for Teske. Teske, long-range shot. Tipped in front by Craven. That one went just wide. Good-looking passing from the Terps right there. Grant Warner trying to get it down low for Pilkington. That one was blocked by Sasso. Craven sends it around. Teske's down low for the Terps. Brian Teske on the far side. His pass blocked down right there by Donahue, and now High Point's got numbers the other way. This is Patrick sending it across for Donahue. He couldn't pull the trigger on the shot. Grant Warner ahead for Pilkington. Pilkington and Warner 2-on-2 into the offensive zone. That shot is kind of blocked into the air by Anderson. A little bit of a pop fly save for Vieira on that one. 1:01 to play in the first.
Shots still 7-9 apiece. High Point leading just by 2, but again, Terps applying some great pressure as they find themselves with another offensive zone draw.
UNC Charlotte and James Madison, their second period is starting just behind us. One of those teams is up 2-0. I can't confidently say which team it is. Chase Wilson behind the net. Wilson trying to feed in front for Warner. That pass was intercepted there by Hutchins. Panthers trying to get it past the blue line. They do. Warner carries it back into the offensive zone for the Terps. 35 seconds to play here in the first. Anderson's behind his own net for High Point. Sends it around the boards for Mertz. Mertz trying to connect through center with Riggio. He couldn't do it there. Rakowskis slowing things down for the Terps, playing with catch with Sean Amon. Rakowskis with it again for Warner. Warner tried to feed it to Hudrin. That pass clicked off his stick and was nearly disaster for Maryland. Big tie-up on the boards right here in front of us. 8 seconds left in the period. It squirts out to Mohan. Mohan with one last gasp for Maryland. Mohan carries it into the offensive zone. Big defensive play there from Ringstad, and that'll run out the clock in the first. Your score, Maryland 1, High Point 0.
Yeah, Terps seem to find themselves up in a game for what seems like the first time in probably more than a month on that goal towards the middle of the period. Off a shot from the blue by Caleb Craven, potentially tipped in by James Body. We'll see if we can get confirmation on that when we come back to you here in just about 20 minutes for the second period.
And we'll see if there's any penalties when we start period number 2. Jack Mertz and Blake Warner were both jawing at each other as that final buzzer sounded, and the officials are huddling up at center. We'll let you know when we come back for the second period of play here between the Terps and the Panthers. Welcome back to AAU Plus for this second period of play here between the Maryland Terrapins and the High Point Panthers. Maryland with a 1-0 lead entering this second period of play. Goal courtesy of Caleb Craven, we have found out officially in the scorebook. No deflection in tight from James Body on that power play tally. But High Point outshot the Terps 9-7 in that first period, a good back and forth period, and some great goaltending from number 32 in red, Jack Pharisee. Bailey, what did you see in that first?
I mean, first of all, one of the main things I saw, I really do love the Terps red uniforms. I just thought I would put that out there right now. We haven't seen them much this season, and I think that it's such a cool color combination against High Point's purples. But besides the point, if we want to get to a more analytical perspective, Terps definitely had a great showing so far in this first period, and I think I mentioned before earlier when we went off for the first period that this is, I believe, the first time the Terps have been up in a game in probably about a month. We saw them drop 5 in a row as of today, hoping to end that streak right now. And again, they played High Point tightly when they saw them last year in the showcase, seemingly outplaying them for that entire game, but ended up dropping 1-0 really late. Just a deflating blow for them. So the Terps are trying to get this back from a year later.
And just behind us, UNC Charlotte went up 4-0 on James Madison. The 49ers really starting to take control over the Dukes on the north rink right behind us. High Point with the puck, it's Jack Slayton. Slayton carries it with speed through neutral, checked off the puck there by Teskey. Around the boards, Eli Petters there for Maryland. He'll send it up for Pilkington. And now through the offensive zone, it's Caleb Craven. Craven on goal for Vieira. He leaves for Cacciatore. Cacciatore around the boards for Heiss. Heiss leaves for Bugan. And Bugan sends that one ahead. Now in his own end, it's Brian Teskey. Teskey sends it for Petter. Petter for Warner. That one's intercepted for the moment by Heiss. The two of them tying it up on the boards. Teskey joins the battle. Puck squirts out for the moment. Tommy Pilkington got a stick on it. And now he's got a neutral taken away by Heiss. Heiss fanned on his first attempt. Then he clears it into the offensive zone. High Point needs a change. Teskey waiting behind Jack Pharisee for Petter. Petter ahead for Warner. That pass was offline. DiMartino into the offensive end for High Point. Across for Sasso with a shot. That one's squeezed by Pharisee. Pharisee 10 for 10 to start his afternoon here in Springfield. 18:43 to play in the second period.
And some good pass sequencing there from High Point. It just seemed like Terps a bit out of position there defensively, allowing that shot to get off there from that far circle. And again, Pharisee with the answer as per usual.
Patrick Harnan winning this faceoff for the Terps, but it goes right at Jack Pharisee. He's able to cover it up. And we will reset in the exact same spot. Patrick Harnan with the win, but High Point applying some immediate pressure. Glessner and Harnan to square off at the dot again. Tie up here goes the way of the Terps. Jack Rakowskis sending it around for Schreibman. Schreibman isn't there first. English with a shot that's blocked by Amon. Sean Amon will use the boards to get this one into neutral. Schreibman pushes it forward, taken away by the Panthers. And now the other way, it's Sasso. Sasso on the far side, around Rakowskis. Sasso trying to feed it in front for DiMartino. That one clicked off the net. At the point, it's English with a shot that's blocked by Amon. Amon will clear this one the length of the ice, but Schreibman's going to be there first, so no icing here. Michael Schreibman taken into the boards there by Hutchins. Hutchins will play it ahead for Sasso. Sasso, his pass there a little bit too strong for DiMartino. Icing here on High Point. DiMartino not too pleased with that icing call, as he thought that he beat Sean Amon to that puck. But the Panthers forced to keep out their same five. Terps will throw their third line out onto the ice. Luke Mohan against Glessner at the dot. Mohan wins the draw, but it's too strong for Serra to handle, and he'll chase. Andre Serra with it for Maryland in his own end. Ahead for Mohan. Mohan carries it through center. Mohan gets it around English, sends it in front for Romps, and he takes it into the corner. Romps to the point for Serra. Serra with a shot. That one's tipped by Duchesne. A good save there from Vieira. Still loose in front. Mohan had a chop at it, but it didn't go. Duchesne leaves it on the far side for Mohan. Mohan's pass for Serra couldn't handle it, and Serra has to go out to neutral. English slowing things down for the Panthers. Now into the offensive end, it's Hutchins. Hutchins skies this one off the glass. Serra back there for the Terps. Ahead for Duchesne. Now Wilson. Wilson pumps it over the red line. Back down there, it's Ringstad for the Panthers. Ringstad around the boards for Anderson. He's checked there by Blake Warner. Chase Wilson working in a one-on-one there. He loses that battle to Liam Donahue, but the Terps get the puck back. Warner chips it into the offensive zone. Anderson's going to be the first one there for High Point. Cam Anderson uses the boards to play it ahead for, that is Finley Patrick. Patrick into the offensive end. That play offside on High Point, so we'll go back to neutral. 16:39 to play here in the second period.
Terps look like they're switching out that fourth line with forwards, slotting in. It's like the second line here. Craven, Warner, and Pilkington.
Caleb Craven, naturally a defenseman for the Terps team. He's been playing wing the last few games. Coach Joe Carter and the rest of the staff trying to get some more offense out of number 7 in red.
And I do wonder if this is going to keep up for the rest of the weekend, considering Craven's goal earlier this game was, again, from that blue line, which is where when he was scoring as a defenseman, he naturally is. I know that was on the power play. The positioning's a bit differently, but if he is crashing in as a defenseman, that's the shot he's going to take. And, of course, considering that's the shot that went in, the most chances he's going to have at that blue is going to be slotted in as a defenseman. So I do still wonder if this Caleb Craven forward experiment is going to continue after this.
Face off here, won by Mertz. At the point, it's Anderson. Anderson with a shot squeezed again by Pharisee. Good traffic in front from High Point, but Pharisee able to get his body in front of that puck there. Now up to 11 saves on the afternoon for number 32 in red. Mertz and Warner will square off at the dot again. Mertz and Warner tie it up with each other, still loose for a moment. On the boards, nobody wants it, and out goes over to Anderson. Anderson, that one goes off of Caleb Craven, and that was dangerous there for the Terps. Penalty coming up here on High Point. Maryland's headed back to the power play. Slash spotted by the near official. They're going to be taking off Mike Yelly for a slash in the corner. Maryland 1 for 1 on the power play already, and they're going to get back to work here with 16:21 to play here in the second. Clock here still running in arena. I don't think they realize that they never stopped it. And now the officials halting play, trying to get things reset.
Don't worry, folks. It seemed like our clock was accurate the entire time if you are watching at home, courtesy of our score bug monitor, Anna Dalbora. Testing out a new scorebook if you guys are familiar with Maryland Hockey Network, so bear with us through any technical difficulties that may come from it.
High Point winning that first face-off. Cacciatore tries to clear it, blocked for the moment, and then Riggio able to get the job done for the Panthers. Travis Duchesne, first one there for the Terps, facing some big pressure from Mertz. Mertz gets tied up with Caleb Craven right there. Mertz lost his stick. Harnan into the offensive zone for the Terps. Harnan leaves it on the boards for Petter. That pass was a little bit too slow. Harnan with it down low. Patrick Harnan trying to play it up for Petter. He keeps it in at the far side. Petter with a shot. That one tipped wide by Body. Body sends it up for Craven. Craven down low to Harnan. Harnan back to the point for Craven. Craven and Harnan still playing catch. Harnan inside for Duchesne. Duchesne with a shot. That one's blocked by Cacciatore. Body trying to keep possession behind the net. He'll use the boards and gets it over to Petter on the far point. Petter with a shot. Saved by Vieira. Gets across with the glove at the end right there. Good stop there from Vieira on Eli Petter.
And if Vieira was just a few seconds late on that, James Body was right there in front of him. We know him as being sort of the tip-in wizard as of recently. 2 goals, 2 games. And so that would have been another dangerous chance there for number 15 in red.
Michael Schreibman wins this face-off forward for Romps, but High Point gets some possession off the dot, and Teskey can't keep it in at the far point. Getting it through center now. This is Slayton with a shot. That one goes over the blocker of Pharisee. English now killing time for the Panthers. English up ahead for Slayton. That one bounces off his stick, and now Grant Warner's got it for the Terps. Warner carries into the offensive zone. Gets it up to Duchesne. Duchesne gets it over the blue line. That one offside there on Sasso. No delayed offside here. Officials blow it dead, so we'll set up in neutral.
Mohan here having a decent game so far in on that third line. I know they kind of like to flip around between this third and first line a little bit, but I do really like him on this third line here. I think that he's more comfortable, especially on a season that maybe hasn't been producing a lot.
That one offside right there. 3-on-2 was developing for the Terps, but James Romps was ahead of that play. Good face-off win from Mohan right before it, and then the Terps saw the gap in High Point's coverage, tried to exploit it. Romps was just a step too fast. This will be Mohan and Heiss at the dot. Heiss wins it. Now it's Ringstad. Ringstad plays it up the boards, taken away by Sarah in Maryland's defensive end. But it only gets as far as Cam Anderson the other way. Up ahead it's Sasso. Sasso on the far side. Sasso loses the puck to Rakowskis. Anderson comes in for support and plays it deep. Vogel there for the Terps. Vogel ahead for Duchesne. Duchesne for Mohan. Mohan working 1-on-2. He'll choose to dump it in from the red line. Vieira goes behind his net to stop it. And the Panthers have a charge coming the other way. That one goes over the stick of Finley Patrick, so icing here on the Panthers. Patrick immediately calling out to Ringstad, who is trying to hit him on that pass and saying, "That's on me, that's on me."
High Point still up in shots despite the Maryland lead, 13-10. But again, Pharisee the backbone for this Terrapin team as of late, denying all of them.
Warner using the boards will play it around. This is Hudrin. Hudrin up for Vogel. Vogel down to Hudrin. Hudrin loses it, though, and now the other way, this is Donahue. Donahue has it stalled up by Wilson, and High Point's forced to reset again. It's Ringstad. Ringstad in his own end. Ringstad plays it off the half wall. Only gets as far as Vogel. Vogel ahead for Hudrin. Hudrin ahead for Warner. Warner playing it for Wilson. Wilson getting in tight. Vieira coming up with a big stop there. Sarah tries to keep it in at the point. He overskates it, but Hudrin's there for the Terps. Hudrin with a shot there, blocked by Anderson, and he'll take it the other way. Now it's Patrick. Patrick on the near circle. Patrick leaves it for Slayton. Slayton trying to send it across to the far point. That pass was just a little bit too far for Cacciatore. Cacciatore across for Anthony Sasso. And Sarah takes it away for the Terps. As we get a whistle here, too many skaters on Maryland. It looks like High Point's going to have their first power play of the afternoon. Terps in the middle of a bad change, and the officials were all over it.
Yeah, it's a mistake you don't see too often from Maryland, quite literally every team, but it seems like some miscommunication there going between their fourth and looks like they're going to try and stick out their second line.
Yep, Maryland in the middle of a bad change. By my count, they had 8 skaters on the ice at one point.
There were a lot. I saw at least 6. There were probably more.
And now High Point will get to work on the power play for the first time today. Hutchins mishandles that one at the point, though, and Harden will say thank you very much and clear it the length of the ice. Vieira back there for High Point, plays it for Hughes. Hughes will send it back around the boards for Hutchins. Hutchins back across to Slayton. Slayton starting the charge for the Panthers. He gets into neutral. Slayton will carry it himself on the far side. Slayton gets around Petter. Slayton trying to knife in on Pharisee inside. He was looking for Sasso, couldn't connect. Hutchins plays it down low. This is Hughes, back for Hutchins at the point. Hutchins to the near side for Slayton, back across for Hughes. Hughes with a shot saved by Pharisee. Net came off for a second, and the officials blow the play dead. Jack Pharisee with a save on that Matt Hughes one-timer, and the net came off.
Common theme here at the St. James. We saw it, I believe, once or twice in the game we were calling on this rink before us, and definitely more than once or twice last year when we were here. The nets on these posts at this rink, not the most structurally sound. If a goalie or anybody really has any drive in on a post, this net is likely coming off the hinges, which could keep this in mind, folks, because that could be an interesting turn of events on both of these teams if anyone gets any chances by the goal.
Face off here, won by DiMartino. Now at the point's Hutchins. That pass stalled up by Grant Warner. Still dangerous are the Terps. Pilkington trying to get over the blue line. Good recovery from Hutchins, and now Pilkington's got it out. And Warner with speed the other way. Warner shorthanded, comes in. Big save, Vieira. Jack Vieira stopping Grant Warner on the shorthanded break. Warner goes into the boards. He's slow to get up. Stands up under his own power. Now he seems to be skating it off. Good opportunity there for Grant Warner. A better stop from Jack Vieira.
Yeah, beautiful breakaway there from the Terps shorthanded. Just looks like Warner ran out of room there. Vieira able to just stick that puck away, sending Warner crashing into the boards. He seems to be okay and is taking this face-off now for the Terps.
Warner wins it, so he'll be able to kill some more time here, but now it's taken away by Glessner for the moment, but it doesn't get past Pilkington. Pilkington with a shot from the far side, another save for Vieira. Pilkington checked into the boards by Glessner. Glessner just throws that one off the boards, and now High Point's got the other way. Coming in, it's Donahue. Donahue sends it back for Glessner as he'll need to reset. Glessner for Bugan. Bugan slowing things down big time, and now he motors through center. Into the offensive zone on the far side, it's Bugan. Bugan gets around Sarah, takes it behind Pharisee. Bugan out for Patrick. Patrick surveys his options. He chooses Sasso. Sasso at the point, back for Patrick. Patrick coming in with a shot. Blocker saved by Pharisee. On the point, it's kept in for the moment there by Donahue, and then the Terps clear. 7 seconds left in the too-many-men bench minor on Maryland. 3, 2, 1. James Body steps out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5 play. Patrick into the offensive zone. That shot goes wide of Pharisee. Now it's Ringstad. Ringstad with it for the Panthers. Up ahead, this is DiMartino. DiMartino on the near side, slowing things down. We'll play it around the boards. First one there is going to be Jack Mertz. Sends it down low again for Yelly. Back for Mertz with a shot. Pad save by Pharisee. Jack Pharisee, good job getting back into position right there. And Maryland trying to go the other way, stalled up by the Panthers. Speed now for High Point. DiMartino on the far side, trying to be the first one there. Shot blocked by Sean Amon. James Body now. We're into some run and gun play here in Springfield. Body with a shot that goes wide of Vieira. Big check there on the boards. Body hits Mertz. And now Ringstad with it for High Point. He'll use a stop-and-go move to get by Luke Mohan. Brian Teskey can't handle that puck. He's working one-on-one there against Yelly. Battling for it in the corner. It's Yelly and Teskey. Squirts out around the boards. It's going to be kept in by Cam Anderson on the far side. Anderson, as we get a whistle here, penalty away from the play, spotted by the official in neutral. It's going to be a cross-check in front on Jack Mertz. Jack Mertz was trying to clear Brian Teskey out of the shooting lane and ended up cross-checking Maryland's captain in the process. Maryland headed back to the power play with 4:49 to play here in the second.
High Point's found themselves down skaters for very least probably 6 minutes or so, if I'm counting my power plays correctly. I know Maryland only capitalized on one of those earlier on in the first period, but you've got to think that the Terps are going to have to continue to break through if the Panthers continue to make these mistakes.
This one, Maryland's fourth power play opportunity of the afternoon. 1 for 3 so far. High Point wins that puck battle, and they'll be able to clear. Riggio was trying to get some speed in there around Craven. Craven's going to be the first one there. Craven has it behind Pharisee. Craven slowing things down, plays it for Petter. Petter up off the boards, it's Harnan. Harnan for Duchesne. Duchesne into the offensive zone for Body. Body can't handle that pass, though, and Hutchins will clear it. Craven back to reset for Maryland. Caleb Craven starting the breakout himself. Up for Harnan. Harnan into the offensive zone on the near side. Harnan will play it down low. First one there is Hutchins. He plays it ahead for Slayton, and Slayton gets it over the blue line. Eli Petter there for the Terps now, back into the offensive zone. Across for Harnan. Harnan near side. Good block there. A sliding Jonathan English getting into that shooting lane. And now DiMartino's going the other way for High Point. DiMartino ran out of real estate. DiMartino thought he may have had a breakaway. That puck was just rolling a little bit too long. This one offside delayed on High Point, washed out now. 44 seconds left in the cross check to Jack Mertz. Craven with it for Maryland. Up for Schreibman. Schreibman into the offensive zone for Warner. Warner back over to Schreibman. That pass is picked off by Sasso. Sasso will slowly clear this one through center. And look out here. It's Slayton on the far side. Slayton with a shot saved by Pharisee. Short-handed opportunity for High Point, shut down by number 32 in red.
Slayton was just able to get that lifted pass there that just went right above the jumping reach of Caleb Craven. He couldn't end up batting that one down, which is what gave Slayton so much room in that opportunity.
Riggio with a face-off win, and Sasso with a quick shot that goes wide. Kept in at the point by Cacciatore. It's taken away now by Warner. Warner trying to get one more gasp on this power play. Tommy Pilkington with it in the offensive zone for the Terps. 7 seconds left. Out for Teske. Teske, long-range shot, saved by Vieira. Good tip in front by Tommy Pilkington. As Mertz steps out of the box, the Panthers have killed another penalty. Schreibman's got it for Maryland. Schreibman with a shot off the pad of Vieira. Around the board, Pilkington can't handle it. Sasso has it stripped by Pilkington. And now Pilkington through center with a shot. That one saved by Vieira. High Point gets this one out of the zone as they need a change. Grant Warner with it for the Terps. Has it taken away by Anthony Sasso. Now into the offensive zone. It's taken away there by Dominic Facciano of Maryland. Facciano will play it all the way down where Anthony Sasso's there for High Point. Sasso one-on-one against Warner. Warner fools him. Facciano played out for the point, but nobody was home as Maryland was in the middle of a change. All the way back down to Pharisee. He'll leave for Rakauskas. Rakauskas has the puck for Maryland. Rakauskas into the offensive end. Rakauskas looking for Facciano. That pass a little bit in front of him. Warner loses that puck battle there to Donahue. And now Rakauskas has it again for the Terps. Up for Facciano. Facciano clears that one in. Vieira's there for High Point. Back around, Warner in front. Wilson with a save. Rebound. Another one by Vieira. Chase Wilson, 2 opportunities in front. Jack Vieira had the answer on both. Maryland still dangerous here. Chase Wilson with a shot from the far side. Another one off the pad of Vieira. 1:20 to play in the second period. Jack Vieira being tested by Maryland's fourth line right there. Now into the offensive zone, it's Heiss. Heiss for the Panthers. Will play it down low for Donahue. Leaves it for Ringstad. Back for Donahue. Donahue with the backhand. That one's gloved by Pharisee. 1:01 to play here in period number 2. Shots now 16 apiece. 16-17. High Point, they just add that one.
All good, but again, Maryland with some great chances really late there, especially with those Chase Wilson sequences there. I thought he had Vieira beat on one of those rebounds, especially because he was so hunkered down to get that first initial save. But Vieira still somehow found a way to deny.
Now within the offensive zone for High Point. At the point, it's Slayton. Slayton with a long shot. That one's tipped just wide. Finley Patrick got a stick on that long-range shot from Slayton. Back across for Anderson. He flubbed his one-timer, and Pharisee's skate knocks off the post. Cam Anderson had some daylight on that one-time opportunity and just did not get all of that shot off.
You can't miss a shot like that, especially when it just seems to be dished to you so perfectly, and he seemed to have such a good perfect range to get that one right in. Just again, fanned it a little bit, and Pharisee catches a break.
Harnan wins this draw against Glessner, but it's taken away by Patrick. A good shot block there from Andre Serra. Cam Anderson trying to keep it in at the blue line. He will. Now downloads Glessner with a shot from the circle. Glove save. Pharisee skating out of his crease to snatch that one out of the air.
Pharisee just makes that look so effortless there when I know that especially wasn't the shot I was necessarily expecting. Pharisee somehow saw it a mile away. What looked like an easy glove save. Just takes so much precision and practice from him.
Glessner with a clean face-off win. High Point really dangerous here. Anderson long-range shot. Another glove save for Pharisee. 21.9 to play in period number 2.
And the Panthers are just pitching it straight to him right now. Pharisee's gloving down everything. I'm interested to see if there's any corner or angle of this net that he won't be able to cover with his glove.
Glessner ties it up with Grant Warner. Maryland comes out with the puck. Anderson trying to keep it in at the blue line. He will. Finley Patrick plays it in deeper. Eli Petter takes it away for the Terps, around for Brian Teske. Caleb Craven there for Maryland. He'll play it into neutral to run out this clock. 4 seconds left in the period. Look out here. Glessner with one more chance. Shot saved by Pharisee at the buzzer. Jack Pharisee with another glove stop. His 20th of the afternoon comes right at the second period buzzer.
Absolutely golden glove performance here from Pharisee in the net. I mean, it seems like he's just so comfortable using that glove, and it has absolutely helped the Terps out after blanking here on this second period, still up from a goal in the first. The Terps, again, still maintain what seems like a late lead for the first time in a very, very long time.
Maryland with a 1-0 lead over High Point as we end this second period of play. We'll be back in about 10 minutes for the third here on AAU+. Yeah, he was listed as 11, Richard Bova. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Welcome back to AAU Plus for this third and final period of play between the Maryland Terrapins and the High Point Panthers. Maryland's been protecting a 1-0 lead over High Point since the first period, but High Point had a lot of chances, especially at the end of that second period, but just could not solve Jack Pharisee. What did you see, Bailey?
Definitely Maryland and High Point both blanking each other back that last period, as Andy was saying, still riding off of a 1-0 lead from a goal in the first period by Caleb Craven. But it looks like both teams here really showing some good opportunities both way. No one's obviously been super dominant over the other, and this worries me a little bit. Seeing the score right now reminds me a lot of last year's game against High Point, where the Terps were really ahead that entire time. High Point just coming in at the last second. I believe that they ended that game with a score of 1-0 in favor of the Panthers, so it looks like we have a similar low-scoring situation. High Point, especially now, too, sneaking in there to the ACHA M2 Southeast rankings at 17. Terps did not make this list yet, so this really could go either way. Terps fans, don't get too comfortable. High Point fans, you still got a lot of life left in you.
Face-off here, won by Mike Yelly, and we are underway in the third period. High Point immediately trying to get the pressure on there. That was Mertz clearing it around the boards. Caleb Craven overskates that one, and Yelly's got an opportunity here for the Panthers. Yelly with a shot that blocked by Grant Warner. That one really stung Grant Warner. He skates off on 1 foot to the bench. Back in his own end, it's Cacciatore. Cacciatore has that pass taken away by Harnan. And now Pilkington out for Craven with a shot. Score! Caleb Craven! His second goal of the game is a bottle popper behind Jack Vieira. It's 2-0 Maryland early in this third period.
This is exactly what this coaching staff was expecting by slotting Craven and Pilkington in on this same line. They knew that those guys' playing styles are just so similar and that they are able to connect with each other no matter who plays what position. Caleb Craven, again, 2 goals on the day. Another longer range shot there, playing in as right wing. So it is great to see him getting back here on the saddle, coming back in with this offense that we have been waiting to see from him all season.
Caleb Craven with his second goal of the game to give the Terps a 2-0 lead right there. Beautiful pass from Tommy Pilkington off the takeaway. And that one popped the bottle off the back of the net of Jack Vieira. Just a perfectly placed shot from number 7 in red. Finley Patrick clears it into the offensive zone for High Point. Slayton's there for the Panthers. Tries to play it out to the point. That one can't be handled by Jack Hutchins, and English will chase. English, one-on-one against Schreibman. Pressure there from Harnan out in front for Schreibman with a shot. Glove save for Vieira as he was falling down. Jack Vieira lost his balance, still got enough of that puck to keep it out of the net. Now Patrick the other way, stalled up by Sean Amon, and Pharisee will cover up that one. Good opportunity for Michael Schreibman at one end, and then another one for Finley Patrick at the other.
Might have been the save of the day there by Vieira, making a nice little windmill robbery on Schreibman just a few moments ago. That would have really blown this game open, but still Terps only up 2-0 with a defensive draw that they have to worry about right here.
Romson, Bugan on the face-off dot. Bugan with a takeaway and a quick shot there. Another save for Pharisee. Make that 21 on the day for Jack Pharisee. Bugan wins another face-off here for Sasso. Sasso to the point for Anderson. Anderson trying to play it down low for Bugan. Couldn't handle that pass, and Rukowskis is there for the Terps. Duchesne with a clear there, and this will be icing on Maryland. Travis Duchesne was trying to put a little bit less mustard on that puck. Immediately talking with Luke Mohan after the play. High Point with an offensive zone draw coming up.
Yeah, Terps just can't get too sloppy here. Again, they're maybe letting loose a little bit after that early goal, but again, Panthers still have 18 minutes, 30 seconds left to turn this game around.
Mohan won that face-off. Terps cleared out to center. Anderson's there for the Panthers. Anderson tries to play it into the offensive zone. Sean Amon there for the Terps. Amon into the boards with Bugan. Now on the wall, it's taken away by Mohan. Mohan up for Duchesne. Duchesne into the offensive zone. That one's blocked for the moment there. Good passing lane disruption from Cole Ringstad. And High Point's got the puck the other way. It's Anderson. Anderson on the near side. Anderson taking it down low. Anderson still waiting. Out to the point. That one skips over the stick of Ringstad right there, and the high point will reset as Maryland gets a change. Ringstad up ahead. That one's tipped by Bugan, but he was behind the red line, so icing here on the Panthers. 17:38 to play in the third period. 2-0 Maryland.
Looks like Terps are going with their fourth line here. Wilson, Warner, and Hudrin. And with Body getting the call up to the big first line, it seems like these guys who rely on him a lot with Wilson and Warner, they're going to have to figure out how to produce on their own without that.
Bugan into the offensive zone, gets taken down there by Caden Vogel. Big jump there from Richard Bova. That was an athletic play from him. Blake Warner chips it ahead for the Terps. The only one there, though, is Matt Hughes for High Point. Hughes only gets it as far as Sarah. And now Sasso gets it back for the Panthers. Sasso sends it down low. Pharisee goes out of his cage for the Terps. Up for Hudrin. Hudrin ahead for Warner. Warner gets it over the blue line. Taken down there was Liam Donahue. He's still slow to get up as we get a whistle here. Liam Donahue just colliding with Grant Warner in neutral. And Donahue took the worst of it. Donahue now up under his own power, getting ovations from both teams. Take a seat on the bench. He's getting some attention now. Liam Donahue, he's had a productive game for High Point so far. A lot of good offensive zone pressure from number 13 in purple. Now High Point facing some pressure here, trailing by 2 with 16:45 to play in the third period. At the point, it's kept in by Cacciatore with a shot. That one got tipped just wide. Good deflection there from Yelly. Out in front for Mertz. He didn't get the shot off. Caleb Craven now with it for the Terps. Up for Pilkington. Pilkington back to Craven. Craven has that one taken off his stick by Cacciatore. Cacciatore takes Craven into the boards. Warner has it for the Terps. Warner looking out in front. Nobody was home on that pass. Teske leaves for Craven. Craven trying to get to Pilkington. That one was interrupted by Sasso. Now up for Teske. Teske. That one's blocked by his own teammate right there. Caleb Craven was trying to deflect it. Another shot there. One-timer from Tommy Pilkington goes wide. Mertz gets that one out of the defensive end. Teske's there for the Terps, and he'll play it right back down. Both teams in the middle of a change. Sasso slowing things down for the Panthers. Anthony Sasso tried to hit a long stretch pass there. That one was too strong for Patrick, and this will be icing on the Panthers.
Terps seeming to settle down a little bit as this third period clock ticks down. We are at 15 minutes, 48 seconds left to play. Clock is glitching out a little bit, folks, so I'm sorry if that isn't accurate completely to what the scoreboard at the rink itself says. But again, technical difficulties on the software's end, not ours.
Yep, we're trying out some new software this weekend. We wanted to make sure that we had a game clock for all of your broadcasts today. Another save there for Pharisee against Cacciatore. Patrick still dangerous here for High Point. Gets taken into the boards by Harnan. Eamon's there for Maryland. He skates it into neutral. Eamon with Schreibman as we have a whistle for offside.
Terps seem a bit confused on the call.
It was just a bit of a late offsides
Yeah.
whistle,
Yeah.
so Maryland's just trying to figure out where that face-off's supposed to be. Harnan against Glessner at the dot. Harnan wins it. Body dumps it. And the first one there is going to be Jonathan English for High Point. English with speed out of his own end. English on the boards against Facciano. He'll leave it for Slayton. Slayton now into the offensive end for the Panthers. Slayton out for Patrick with a shot. That one's off the shoulder of Pharisee. Still loose in front. Big jam for it, and it's in. Finley Patrick, The last one to get a stick on it, it appears. But no matter who they credit it with, Glessner looks like he's going to lead the line. It's 2-1. High Point cuts the lead in half.
I mean, with how much time that puck spent in Pharisee's crease, if Terps weren't able to clear it, that was bound to happen eventually. Pharisee can only make so many incredible saves, and ends up now, as Andy was saying, cutting the lead in half. Terps still up 2-1, but we have exactly 15 minutes left to play here in the third period.
Exactly 15 minutes, as you said, we're on that clock. When Glessner tapped it behind Jack Pharisee, Pharisee came up with the initial save off his shoulder. Just could not corral that rebound, and a giant scramble inside the Maryland crease resulted in High Point's first goal of the contest. This play offside at the line. 14:38 to play here in period number 3. Maryland now protecting a 1-goal lead yet again. Facciano to take this face-off against Bugan. Facciano wins it. Andre Serra will chase in his own end. Serra plays it ahead for Facciano. Facciano, 2-on-2 developing. He'll dump it into the offensive zone. First one there is going to be Bugan. Bugan can't get it past Vogel for the moment. Still kept in at the point for a second. Now Bugan's got it the other way. Up ahead, it's Riggio. Riggio leaves it back for Anderson. Anderson plays it across for Ringstad. Ringstad and Riggio are offside right there. A little bit of miscommunication from High Point on that zone entry.
Both teams look like they're struggling a bit with that on-off communication here, especially in this third period. We've seen a few whistles in the past few minutes just from both sides.
Petter up ahead for Warner. Blake Warner rumbling into the offensive zone, leaves for Wilson. Around the boards, Hudrin's going to be the first one there. Hudrin and Warner working 2-on-1 against Ringstad. Now it's a 2-on-2 scuffle. Puck still loose in the corner. Teskey's going to get there for the Terps. Brian Teskey down for Hudrin. Hudrin out in front for Warner. He couldn't get the shot off. Ringstad takes Chase Wilson down on the boards. Anderson plays it ahead through neutral. And now Bova couldn't get that one cleanly into the offensive zone. Petter takes it away for the Terps. He'll dump it in from the red line. Maryland needs a change. Bova deflects that one at center. Eamon will be there for Maryland. Eamon trying to use the boards for Craven. That pass was offline. Kept in for the moment by Yelly. Now Pilkington can't get it past Cacciatore. Now Pilkington takes it away. Tommy Pilkington gets it through neutral, carries it into the offensive zone. Pilkington around one, around two, looking for Warner. Good defensive stick right at the end there from Jack Mertz. Cacciatore delayed offside here on High Point, now washed out. Sean Eamon with it for Maryland. Eamon slowly around the boards for Pilkington. Pilkington. That one deflects off of DiMartino, and Mertz will clear it into the offensive zone. Or no, he won't. That one clicks off the Maryland bench. Face-off will come out to neutral. 12:36 to play here in period number 3. Maryland 2, High Point 1.
Maryland going with that top line again. Harnan, Schreiben, and Body. The modified top line now with the addition of James Body. Terps again switching up their line seems like every game. This one seemed to have worked out a bit better for them in comparison to recent attempts, but we're going to see what they stick with, if they stick with anything at all.
Into the offensive zone. This is Hutchins with a shot. Another glove save for Pharisee. Jack Hutchins was working 1-on-2 on that near side, able to get a clean shot off there. A glove save for Pharisee, and an offensive zone draw coming up for the Panthers. Mertz at the dot for High Point. Wins this face-off against Harnan, but the Terps gain possession. Schreiben using his speed to try and get around Jonathan English. Vieira came to recover. James Body couldn't handle that pass, and now DiMartino's got energy the other way. DiMartino going in against Serra. DiMartino with a shot saved by Pharisee. The rebound was dangerous for a moment there. Harnan up ahead for Body. That pass was offline. Now it's Glessner. Glessner taken away by Schreiben. Schreiben down low for Harnan. Harnan with a sharp angle shot. That's saved by Vieira, and it's caught up in his equipment. Sharp angle shot from Patrick Harnan right there. Vieira had the answer. Didn't look like he was 100% certain where the puck got caught up, but he knew it wasn't in the net. Mohan against Glessner at the dot. Glessner gets excused, so Patrick will come in. Mohan wins it. At the point, it's Teskey who gets taken down hard there by Glessner. Now down low, it's Mohan. Mohan out for Teskey with a shot. That one, another save for Vieira. Duchesne fans on his shot. And now Patrick's got the other way. Patrick up ahead for Slayton. Slayton on the near side, dumps it in. Teskey's going to be there first for the Terps. Teskey will use the boards, but it doesn't get past Glessner. Maryland now takes it away. Duchesne trying to get it past neutral. Up for Petter. Now to Romps. Maryland has numbers if they hurry. Romps, good defensive stick there from Ringstad. Blocking up that 2-on-1 chance for the Terps. Now High Point with numbers. It's Anderson. Anderson across. Slayton. Shot. Saved by Pharisee. Rebound. Another one. Jack Pharisee. Are you kidding me? Jack Pharisee. Highway robbery. First on Cam Anderson, then on Finley Patrick.
I mean, I can talk all year about how huge of an asset Pharisee is for this Terrapin team, but genuinely, nothing I could say right now could just amass how incredible that sequence of saves was from him. That just didn't even seem humanly possible. Pharisee, he's not a big guy, and yet he is still able to cover the entire capacity of this net there. Just his movement, his agility, incredible, and then really just suffering that chance there for High Point. This game could have been tied with just about 11 minutes left to play. Would have been a huge blow to Maryland and a huge asset there for the Panthers.
We will finish off this media timeout. Jack Pharisee, what a couple of saves right there. We are back here on AAU Plus. Jack Pharisee with a couple of incredible stops right before we took a break. But High Point still trying to tie this game. DiMartino with a point shot. Pad save for Pharisee, and he covers. Just two incredible saves. Finley Patrick, the one on him was just insane. That rebound where Pharisee was on his back. Got up just enough to put the glove in place. Eugen loses this face-off here. High Point still dangerous. Rebound in front. Sasso couldn't get a stick on it. Pharisee looked to be out of position there, and Nick Sasso couldn't pull the trigger. Blake Warner now through neutral, plays it into the offensive zone, and Warner gets hit hard. Blake still down on the ice. He was grabbing at his head.
Fans here are asking for a call. We're going to see if officials say anything about that hit on Warner. Seems to be skating off on his own will.
Blake Warner able to get up under his own power. Took a hard hit there. I believe it was DiMartino who delivered the check. Some big physical hockey here deep into the third period of this matchup between Maryland and High Point at the ACC Showcase. Cacciatore across to Sasso in his own end. Sasso, that pass taken away by Pilkington. Now Craven. Craven looking for the hat trick. That one's off the pad. Tommy Pilkington working one-on-one there against Sasso. Craven touches up. I believe they're going to catch Tommy Pilkington for a hook. And High Point with a chance to tie the game on a power play right here.
I mean, this is the last thing the Terps need right now, especially again, going back to Pharisee. This is not how you should be playing after your goaltender is able to bail you out in such a sufficient way here. Pharisee is going to be left again as the backbone for this team defending off this penalty kill with 10 minutes, 13 seconds left to go here in the third period. High Point is coming in hard and fast right now.
DiMartino wins the faceoff. Back at the point, it's Hutchins. Hutchins across. This is Slayton. Slayton on the far side. Plays it down low for DiMartino. Across for Hughes. Couldn't get the shot off there. Back for Hutchins to Slayton. Slayton surveys his options on the far circle. Slayton will send it in for DiMartino. He pumps that one wide of Pharisee. Hughes and Petter deflect that one into the netting. Faceoff will stay out in front of Jack Pharisee. First 22 seconds gone in the hooking minor to Tommy Pilkington. DiMartino at the dot wins this one against Harnan. At the point, it's Hutchins. Hutchins for Slayton. Slayton on the far side. Slayton waiting. Back to the point for Hutchins. Hutchins down to Slayton. Across for Hughes. Hughes with a shot. Blocked there by Petter. Slayton now deep in his own end. Slayton out for the point. That one couldn't be handled. And now Harnan, shorthanded. Patrick Harnan, shot, saved by Vieira. Matt Hughes there to recover for High Point. Patrick Harnan, a shorthanded breakaway. Vieira had the answer with the pad. Hutchins now through neutral. Leaves it back for Slayton. Slayton and Hughes were trying to play catch. The two of them weren't communicating, though. And this will be a free clear for the Terps. 52 seconds left on Pilkington's hook. Hughes through neutral. Matt Hughes working one-on-one against Romps. The two of them collide on the boards. Around the end, this will get out again. That one was cleared by Andre Serra for Maryland. Anthony Sasso back there for High Point. Sasso with speed through neutral. Sasso on the far side. That one's offside. DiMartino fell down at the blue line and put himself ahead of the play. 22 seconds left on the minor to Tommy Pilkington. Still 8:35 to play in the third.
Terps catch a break there with that offsides call. But again, it seems like they're just trying to figure out which skaters on the ice right now are going to be able to keep up with this fired-up High Point team.
Grant Warner wins this faceoff for Maryland in an immediate clear from Andre Serra. Warner's got in neutral. Now into the offensive zone. He'll try to kill off some more time here. It's taken away by the Panthers. Now with it, it's Anthony Sasso. Sasso with 7 seconds left on the power play. Sasso has that one stalled up by Wilson. 2-1. Pilkington's out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5. Glessner with it in the offensive zone for High Point. Has that one taken off his stick by Serra. Maryland clears it again. With it in his own end. This is Bugan. Bugan loses it to Hudrin. Out for Warner. Warner fanned on the shot. Now Bugan, a 3-on-2 developing for High Point. Bugan, stick check there for the moment by Petter. Patrick coming in with a shot blocked by Brian Teskey. Hudrin skies that one through center. Blake Warner there for the Terps to apply some pressure. Warner taken down by Anderson. And now Ringstad the other way. That one way offside as Finley Patrick hadn't gotten out of the zone yet.
Finley Patrick behind the play there. Him and Teskey kind of got caught up with each other. That's why he was so far back behind the play there, and just some interesting communication issues there from the Panthers led to that really strange collision where we saw that puck have an entire sequence there on the other end. Finley Patrick just not able to get out after being tied up with Teskey for a good few seconds there.
Harnan and Yelly at the dot now. Slight delay from the officials. And now we play. Yelly wins the face-off. High Point dumps it into the offensive zone. First one there is going to be Petter for Maryland. Petter loses that puck to Mertz. Mertz now tying it up with Teskey. Teskey uses the wall to get it up for Schreibman. Schreibman pushes it into neutral. Schreibman tied up with Sasso for a moment, and now the other way. Here comes Mertz with a shot that goes wide. Body up for Harnan. Harnan up for Schreibman. Schreibman with a shot. Saved by Vieira. Body was not in a good spot for that rebound, but it was still a great save. Another point shot from Murkowskis. Pad save for Vieira there. Body clears that one into the offensive zone again as Riggio got tied up with Schreibman. Now it's Ringstad. Ringstad is poke checked there by Pilkington, and look out there. Loose puck was sitting dangerously in front of the Maryland crease. Schreibman pokes that one ahead for Pilkington. Pilkington one-on-one against Anderson. Pilkington, spin move there against Anderson, and Pilkington ends up with the puck. Now he's checked off it by Yelly. Anderson plays it ahead for Mertz. Mertz couldn't handle it, and Sean Amon has it for the Terps. Amon pumps it into the offensive zone. One-on-one there between Warner and Hutchins. Now look out here. Slayton and DiMartino, 2-on-1 developing. Slayton waiting. Shot there. Doesn't get to Pharisee. Around the boards again, it's Slayton. Slayton with a sharp angle shot. A save for Pharisee on that one. Fans in the stands wanted to call on that one. No arm up from the officials. Hutchins down low for DiMartino. Around again for Hutchins. Hutchins back out to the point. It's Glessner. Across for English. English facing some pressure from Pilkington. Pilkington takes him down. Rakowski's taken down there by Slayton. And now Warner ends up with the puck in neutral. Into the offensive zone, it's Grant Warner 1-on-2. He'll dump it in. Maryland in the middle of a change. 5:29 to play here in the third. Glessner. Now Warner really getting into it with English. And I think the officials are going to send both of them off for roughs. Jonathan English and Grant Warner both pushing at each other behind the play. And each of them will get 2 minutes here.
So I was just going to say, both those guys literally were doing the motions to drop their gloves right there, maybe out of frustration. But, yeah, as Andy was saying, trying to say at least just 5:25 left to go here in the third. We find ourselves in a 4-on-4 opportunity here. High Point quickly realizing that their best chance of getting past Pharisee is on these rebound opportunities. I'm not sure how this is going to work out for them, though, with the limited amount of skaters they're going to have on the ice right now.
Face off there, won by Bugan. Now for High Point, this is Sasso. Anthony Sasso checked off the puck there by Petter. Harnon's got it for the Terps. A lot of open ice here in this 4-on-4 opportunity. Harnon facing some big-time pressure there from Nick Sasso. Harnon will just have to dump it in. Bugan with it for High Point. He'll leave for Sasso. Sasso leaves for Bugan again. Bugan back for Cacciatore. Cacciatore into the offensive zone. Drop pass to Sasso. This is Nick Sasso with a shot. That one gets deflected in front of Pharisee and goes high. Pilkington will skate it into neutral for the Terps. Pilkington checked off the puck there by Sasso. Nick Sasso now motoring through center. Sasso in need of a change will dump this in. 1 minute left in the 4-on-4. Andre Serra with the puck for Maryland. Plays it back for Petter. Petter slowing things down for the Terps. For Craven. Craven on the near wing. Craven to the circle. Craven knifing to the net front. Another save for Vieira. Pilkington with it on the near side. He'll play it where nobody is. Cacciatore going to be the first one there. Christopher Cacciatore leaving the puck there for Slayton. That's Hughes. Matt Hughes dumps it in from neutral. Sean Amon playing it around the boards for the Terps. Hughes is going to be the first one there, working against Serra. Hughes on the near circle with a shot. That one goes high. And it rings all the way around, and this will be a free clear for Maryland. Schreiman's got some speed. Schreiman tried to play it out in front for Serra. Good defensive stick there from Ringstad. Schreiman, another takeaway in the offensive zone. Schreiman really applying some pressure here on the forecheck. And we are back to 5-on-5 as Warner and English step out of the box. Harnon with it in the offensive end for Warner. Score! Just as he stepped out of the box, Grant Warner makes it 3-1. A beautiful pass from Patrick Harnon. And the one-timer goes high blocker past Jack Vieira.
Warner and Harnon have just been able to connect with each other so well this season. I'm surprised they don't put them down on the same line more, because when they play together, it seems like that is what happens. Two guys who skate very similarly. Harnon able to drive to that net, Warner able to get that pass there to him. So, or vice versa, depending on what the situation is. That one right there, though, a penalty box goal from Warner straight out of jail. Terps are up 3-1 with 3 minutes left to play here in the third.
Big insurance tally there from Grant Warner. You could feel High Point getting some pressure at the other end. Grant Warner putting on a big tally for the Terps right there. Jonathan English trying to get it right back for High Point. Loses that puck to Petter. Petter up ahead for Schreibman. Schreibman overskated it. Slayton's got it for the Panthers. Down for Glessner. Glessner across. He was looking for Hutchins. That was blocked by Body. Body pokes that one out to neutral, and English is forced to reset. English up ahead for Hutchins. Hutchins will dump this in. Hutchins around the boards for Glessner. Glessner down to DiMartino. Taken away by Grant Warner. Doesn't get it past the blue line. It's kept in by Cacciatore. Hutchins with a long-range shot. Saved by Pharisee. Where's the puck? Still loose in front. That one was pushed just wide. Glessner back to the point for Cacciatore. Across for Hutchins. Hutchins cruising in. Back for Cacciatore with a shot. That was blocked by Caleb Craven and out of play.
Caleb Craven's still a defenseman at heart, and especially in as a forward now a bit further up on the ice position-wise, is able to smother that one really early on there. Great shot block. I'm sure that stung, but really giving Pharisee and the rest of the Terps defense a break there. Caleb Craven still playing well on both sides of the ice this morning.
2:13 to play here in the third period. Maryland protecting a 2-goal lead over the Panthers. Bugan wins this face-off for High Point. We'll keep an eye on Jack Vieira at the other end to see when High Point decides to pull their netminder. Bugan with it at the near point with a shot saved by Pharisee, still loose in front. He swallows it up. Pharisee lost that rebound for a moment and then did the full-on snow angel to cover that puck.
And I want whatever pre-workout Pharisee was given this morning, because he, again, just the energy and the, just agility from him, incredible. Even if that save wasn't necessarily a great one, the way he was able to recover from that really helped the Terps out, save them a dangerous chance there.
Timeout here called by High Point.